So, good evening, everyone. Good evening, ma'am. And it's a great pleasure for me to introduce our today's speaker, who is going to talk on the topic cash flow and production planning. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am, and my dear participants to this 6 weeks TDP program on organic farming and biofuels. So, speaker for today's evening is Miss Vandana Gupta, and ma'am has done MBA in Banking and Finance from IGNOU and Diploma in International Financial Reporting Standards IFRS from ACCA UK. And Ms. Vandana Gupta has 11 years of distinguished experience in various companies in the fields of project delivery and time management, auditing, cash flow management, escalation management, transition management, and finance and accounts. And currently, ma'am is working as a finance controller with an American company since October 15. And she is proficient in managing and leading teams for running successful process operations and experience of developing procedures, service standards for business excellence, and extensive experience in conceptualizing and implementing financial procedures and actively involved in the maintenance and finalization of accounts and many more. So I welcome you, ma'am, and our participants. They are really looking forward to hear from you. Thank you, ma'am, and over to you.
Hello everyone, very good evening, and thank you so much for the lovely introduction of mine and letting the students know that whether they are in safe hands or not. So I personally feel very fortunate to be part of these type of sessions, guys, because learning is a journey which can start anytime, and it's always help us to flourish more. So I would, like to take the screen on the sharing as well. So let me take my screen on the sharing. And let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So at the onset, I really want to congratulate, guys, all the participants who are part of these sessions, because I personally believe that this is the real investment in ourselves, because having knowledge of different areas make us versatile, and the more versatile we are, the more valuable we become. To be honest and to be open with you, based on my personal experience, I personally, believe that Lakshmi comes automatically where Saraswati is. So I'm sure many of you must be agree with me. So let's, collectively work towards Saraswati and, in other way to increase our knowledge, to inculcate new understandings of new different things, in us, which will be followed by Lakshmi ourselves. So let's roll the ball and come to today's topic, which is cash flow statement and its connection with the productions, its connection with understanding level and all other aspects into it. But what is cash flow? Many must be thinking about, before we know about a cash flow statement, how it looks like, what it represents, but what is actually cash flow? So is cash flow is cash in and cash out? Or does it represent business liquidity or solvency? Or whether it is really a treasury operation, because treasury is all about cash. Is it a part of financial statement? Or some may think about that whether it's going to tell about the working capital balancing. So to answer your question, guys, every aspect is true. Every aspect is true with respect to every individual, because it depends upon your thought and your application, how you are using the cash flow statement and how you are interpreting it. Because cash flow statement serves a lot of purpose. So you must feel like that, why not understand a statement which can serve so many purposes? It just depends upon how we look at it. And for that, we need to know how to actually look at, and how to prepare those cash flow statements. So the cash flow statement is not only one of the component of financial statement, but it is also used to reveal the source and uses of cash by a business. It represents information about cash which is generated from operating activities, and also the effect of various changes in the balance sheet of the company cash position. So I personally believe that many of you who are from commerce background and even in journal background, that any annual statement or any financial statement of a company includes balance sheet, profit and loss account, and many other components of it, We obviously going to talk about, a bit on that also. But then cash flow statement is also one of the important part of company's financial statement. So before I move further on typically enter into cash flow statement, let's talk about what a financial statement includes. So a financial statement includes statement of financial position, which is also in journal accounting world we known and we called as balance sheet. Income statement. Income statement, few people call it as profit and loss statement. Statement of change in equity. It's more about introduction of equity or funds in the company and dividend distribution. So it is also one of the statement. Statement of cash flow, about which we're gonna talk about in detail. And just have confidence, guys. I'll give you everything, every stuff around what is cash flow statement, how we prepare it, how it is relevant, why it is important, and ultimately which accounting standards need to be followed when anyone asks you to prepare a statement of cash flow, either in India, either in America, either in Australia, either in any country, because every country have their own accounting standards as well, which need to be followed. But I'm going to tell you about that. And finally, last not the least, notes. The disclosure to financial statement also very important part of it, because there it talks about what a company deals into and what standard they followed into and many aspects according to about the company. So this is the complete set of financial statement. I know I believe that you know a little bit about everything, but we're gonna talk about statement of cash flow in detail. So before I, just start with how to prepare a cash flow statement, let me tell you why cash flow statement is required. Let me tell you the importance of it. Because if you don't, hello, am I audible? Guys, I would request you to please be on mute, and if there is any difficulty while hearing to me or anything like that, feel free to raise your hands or something like that. Else, please be on mute. Okay, so coming back to the flow, we are talking about the importance of cash flow. Because guys, in general, what happens? Until and unless we know the importance of something, we don't having the interest into it. So let me, I'll let you know that how cash flow is important and why it is so important. Cash flow is actually the blood, which is like, as we all know, blood is important part of the human body. In the same way, cash is blood to the business. So cash flow statement for a company really help us to know how the company is doing. A person usually go to the balance sheet and income statement, because balance sheet talks about how many total assets and liabilities at a point of time, and income statement give you an information about earning for a specific period of time. But profit is really not a correct measure of the company's actual situation. You know why? Because our financials are prepared on accrual accounting. It's a base of accounting, and it includes a lot of non-cash items as well. That's the reason many a times profit may be inflated or may not be presenting the correct picture of a company. But this is how we prepare the financial statement. So how to understand a financial statement and how cash flow help us to understand the financial statement in a more, understanding and decision making level. Like, every earning or when we record revenue does not always increase cash. And you must be thinking, why not? Because it may be credit sales as well. So if there is a cash sales, it increase in cash. But when we record the revenue in our financials, it may be credit sales as well. Similarly, when we are incurring expenses, does not always decrease cash right away, because it may be due to several accrued expenses in the statement of, financial position or in the statement of income. So how then cash flow help us to know? So cash flow statement are really a statement which show us how cash is entering into the business and leaving the business. And for a potential investment decision making, we always need to focus on our cash flow. our cash flow related to that period for a better assessment of our business development, for a better assessment of our cash and cash equivalent. Let me take some examples which really help you to know more about it. So I personally believe many of you must have heard about this company, Berkshire Hathaway. It's an American multinational conglomerate holding company, because this is a company, the CEO is Warren Buffett, and everyone who deals in stock markets, and he's the godfather of that market actually. So this Berkshire Hathaway company, I was analyzing financials few years back, and this company is actually very, having in diversified businesses. They have diversified investments. They deal in property and casualty insurance, utilities. On one hand, they are in restaurant chains. On the other hand, they are in aerospace. They are into toys, media, automobiles, and so on and so forth. So, one important thing that we all know, that being diversified is also very important. The more diversified you are, the more, survival in the market will increase for you. Because generally we know the recession when hits, it hits not the overall economy generally, it hits basically the sectors. As in recently in the pandemic situation, we all know that overall economies of a lot of countries, has faced a lot of challenge. But the health sector, there was a lot of demand over that, but they grew. They grow a lot around that because of the diversity. So every time you may see the companies which survive for a longer time period, and nowadays the concept of multinational companies having diversified businesses. Okay. So coming back to the Berkshire Hathaway company, in which I was analyzing the financials of 2014, and guys, when I was looking at their income statement, they were reflecting the operating profit. No, not the income statement. So I was looking for the cash flow statement. So when I was looking for the cash flow statement, there is an operating section to it. So there was operating profit of 24 billion, which was wow. But then when I look at the reporting earnings, and the earnings were around only 4 billion. So I was surprised that why could be that in real sense the operating profit is 24 billion, but they are reflecting such a less earnings, because primarily it was because of the result of loss in unrealized capital gains. So that, as I told you, the financial statement contains a lot of concept which is based on unrealized factors, accrual concept, and many other aspects like that. So based on the cash flow statement, from the operating section of the cash flow statement, I able to analyze that Berkshire Hathaway in 2014 is actually having the profit to the extent of 24 billion, and not only what they are really reporting in the earnings section of income statement, which is around only 4 billion. So the cash flow statement along with the income statement really help us to have the understanding of overall picture of the company. So this is one of the example of the noise which included in the income statement of any company. That income statement may not be reflecting the correct picture. And it's why investors should look for the company cash flow statement for analyzing the performance of the company. So cash flow are made a lot of straightforward, provide a lot of straightforward information than the net income. I would like to take another example of Amazon. I know that you know Amazon and everyone know about this company. So similarly, when I was looking for Amazon financials of 2014, that time there was negative earning of 241 million. So yeah, that was there. And when I was looking at, on the other hand, the cash flow, it was 5.9 billion cash. So I thought, how could a company which is showing a cash flow of 5.9 billion is showing a net earnings which is in loss around 245, 241 million. You know what the real fact is? There was a cash which has been introduced by Amazon that time based on their future valuation. They took a bank loan. So this is very important to know from where the cash is coming from. So increasing in cash is great, but we need to know if the amount is due to increase in sales, or is the company have taken a bank loan. So what they did to make cash flow statements more logical, more reliable, and easily to understand, they actually bifurcate the cash flow statement under three categories. So, when they have taken the bank loan, it's more about financing activity. So that was reflecting in the financing activity that what the cash, overall cash flow, which is too much for Amazon that time, 2014, is because they have taken bank loan. However, under the operating or the operations levels, they were not doing so well that time. So to make cash flow statements more relevant, more easily understandable, the cash flow statements can be further classified under three sections: cash from operating activity, cash from investing activity, and cash from financing activity. So I would like to go, into more detail of these sections of operating, financing, investing. But before that, maybe many of you know or not that we have two different methods of preparing the cash flow statement. And when we talk about two different methods, it's basically the operating section of cash flow statement, which is the most important section. Because in journal, whenever people talk in business sense, how much is the top line, that is the total revenue, but how much operating profits companies generating, that in spite of referring the income statement, they generally talk about operating cash flow. So the operating section of the cash flow statement is one of the important section, and this can be presented either in direct method or indirect method. So to make it very clear, because I have observed in my experience, guys, generally at the student level or even after your graduation, post graduations, people really feel like that where to use direct method and where to use indirect method, and in addition, what is the actual difference between them. So guys, first of all, talks about the use. So direct and indirect method both gives same results. It is because of the statutory requirements, and you understand the statutory requirements, that the companies which are registered under any stock exchange, they have journal GAAP requirements, journal accepted accounting principle requirements, but on the other hand, they are under some statutory requirements as well. Like LIC, talk about is an insurance company. They are registered. They are registered, with, for example, Bombay Stock Exchange. So they need to provide their financials to them, and provide the, to the tax department and all. But IRDA is insurance regulators in India. So they need to act according to IRDA as well. So if someone asks you who is the statutory regulator for LIC, it's IRDA. So similarly, it's basically sometimes the statutory regulators demands that any company or every company should reflect the cash flow statement on direct method. And that's why the importance of direct method increased that time. However, generally companies prepare indirect method because indirect method is easy to prepare. You must be feeling that, we are saying indirect method and still it is easy. You know why? Because the financial statements which we have already prepared, like I'm talking about the other financial statement, like our balance sheet and profit and loss account. So since it is already based on accrual accounting, so we take net profit out of that and add back all non-cash items, and thereby preparation of indirect method is quite easy. I'm going to tell about more indirect method and explain you, because maximum companies prepare the cash flow statement of indirect method, and direct method is generally when the statutory regulators required it. So this is when required direct method and indirect method. And remember the next question I asked, that what's the difference between them? So the difference is only with respect to operating activities. Only the operating activity section of the cash flow need to reflect direct method or indirect method. You need to choose between one of them. But the other two sections like investing and financing, they remain same. Either you are preparing the cash flow statement from direct method or under indirect method. So this is just we started. I haven't taken you through what is under operating, what is under investing, what is under financing and all. But before preparation aspect, before understanding further, items into it, I just told you that we have two methods, direct and indirect. And direct method is nothing, it's something like that. You just start with actual in cash, what you received. Whatever receipt is actual receipt from operating revenues, which increase your cash flow. Actual cash payments, if you have made to the your suppliers or any expense which you have incurred at whatever cash you have made or paid, is decrease your cash flow. All non-cash expenses and non-cash items, any example of a non-cash like depreciation, amortization, any provisions, these are all non-cash. So we should not consider, or we never consider under direct method, and all the non-cash transactions are omitted. So under this direct method, when we prepare the cash flow statement, it is actually nothing but income statement when we prepare on cash basis rather than accrual basis. So while preparing the cash flow statement under direct method, so we not consider items like depreciation, amortization of intangible assets, preliminary expenses, some investment valuations, etc. They are ignored under direct method because that includes only cash related transaction. So even no adjustment for the gain and losses of sale of fixed asset, because in that case what is the actual receipt on the sale or whatever you have received will be considered rather than taking into account gain and losses, because under direct method we take what is cash in and we take what is cash out. So this is how we prepare under direct method. And under indirect method, which we're going to talk more about how we prepare the cash flow statement under indirect method, it involves a lot of adjustments. But that adjustment, obviously, since we need to come to the answer of a cash item, whatever cash related, so all non-cash related items will be add back, or maybe adjustment related to that we will do in under indirect method. So the indirect method for preparation of the statement of cash flow involves adjustment of non-cash items. And in addition, any change in the balance sheet accounts to arrive at the amount of cash which is generated by operating activity. So as I told you guys, indirect method is very popular because the information which is required to prepare cash flow statement are relatively very easy to assemble, very easy to find out from the set of accounts which we have already prepared, because business already have prepared the balance sheet as well as income statement, and then cash flow statement is a reporting statement which can be prepared based on other financial statements. Okay, so let me talk about and come to the things like cash flow from operating activity. What comes to your mind when you heard this name operating? Operating obviously means day-to-day operations. So when I say cash flow from operating activities, it must talk about our daily business operations, how we generate revenue, what are the major expenses, what is our real operations. So this is the most important part of cash flow statement, because this part depicts how much cash is generated with the actual operation of the business. And guys, I'm going to spend some good enough time on operating section because this is important from many aspects, because of the two methods which I just talked about, that also only in the operating section, either direct or indirect. And another reason is this is the section which helps us to take a decision of the real investment, because this reflects the real profit of the company. It includes when we receive cash from the sale of goods or rendering of services. It also includes when we paid cash for the either purchase of goods or for taking any services. Payment made to employees, like the salary, the gratuity, whatever payment we are making to the employees is also the cash out. And when we paid interest on any loan, even taxes payment to the government, these are all include under the operating section. So people who are referring the company cash flow, as I told you just a few minutes back, they are actually referring to the cash flow from operating activities or operation. So income statement contains non-cash item as well, which I mentioned like depreciation, accrual of expenses. However, cash flow does not include all that. So just think about if we are using indirect method and we need to eliminate what? Non-cash item. What should we do? We should start with net loss or income, which is reflecting in our income statement, and start adding back all those non-cash items which which should not be there in the cash flow. Like add all the provisions. You must heard about provision of doubtful debts, provision of dismantling, provision for employees benefit. So all those provisions when companies create, it's because of statutory guidelines, it's because of accrual accounting and all, but these are non-cash. So we add that. All the accrued of expenses, add back. Depreciation, add back. Amortization, deferred income tax, very important. So we do have accrual of income tax in our income statement, add back. But you must be thinking, tax is a real expense. I know that. We gonna reduce whatever actual tax has been paid to government. But here, since it is estimated income tax, we need to add that. So what we need to do, take the figure of net income and loss from your income statement, add back all the non-cash items, and once you add back everything, then we go to our balance sheet and talk about and look into the change in working capital. Because whatever change in working capital will actually reflect the cash position. So all the working capital elements like inventory. So just think about, and you need to think very carefully here, guys. Change in inventory. If we bought additional inventory from a cash perspective, what would have happened? Our cash must have been reduced because inventory has been increased, which because we have bought the inventory, and whenever we buy something, we have to pay for it. So any increase in inventory will reflect as decrease in cash. Similarly, account receivable. You know what is account receivable? It's nothing but our it's debtors. The people from whom we need to receive the money under the business. The debtors has been generated because when we made the credit sales, all has been recorded as debtors. So actual cash which we have received from the cash sales is perfectly okay, but whatever credit sale has been made is generally reflected as accounts receivable, which few of the accountants and we known as debtors as well. So if there is decrease in debtors, so debtors has been decreased, that means we must have received money from them. That's the reason they have decreased, and that is increase in cash flow. So this is how you need to understand this, and once you understand all these elements and consider the change in working capital, that give you a resultant of net cash from operating activity. And I'm telling you guys, this is very interesting. Might be it's feel like that uh, like how to get it, how to understand it, how to connect its links and everything. But I'm telling you, when you prepare it, and if there is some variations coming into it, and when you analyze why the variation is coming, and then you get the results and with the logic, then you personally feel very satisfied and good. This is the preparation, the people who do preparation, they feel how good about it. And then I'm going to talk about when people analyze it. So what I have done, I have added an example for the people who analyze the cash flow statements and taking an investment decision as well. So for everyone, it's going to be interesting. As I told you, the cash flow statement serves a lot of purpose, right? So this is the operating section, and I'm not going to move to investing or financing right now. I told you that on operating section, I'm going to spend some good time because this is one of the important section. So let me talk about some key points of this operating section. This cash flow from operating activities, and I'm gonna tell you that please hear it carefully because there are a lot of multiple questions or MCQs which is based on this slide as well. Okay, so I'm talking about that it is basically the measure of company's operating profit. What? Cash from operating activity. Like any other profit number, which is from the income statement may be high or low because it includes non-cash item. But whatever cash from operating activities really reflect how the business is growing. His operations are doing good. it signifies that business is growing because it is cash from operating activity if it is growing. And if you see the cash is shrinking, well, shrinking of cash, it signifies the business is shrinking. And in journal, you won't able to see, but operating section help you to know if they're not able to generate enough cash from operations, then the business may be wind up soon. So a negative cash from operating means that firm is operating, it's a very bad level and they may lose money. And a lot of people nowadays, and including all of us, we love to enjoy the video games and a lot of games, but as soon as it written as game over, it's a very sad situation for everyone. So we don't want that. So why not, reflecting and understanding the cash flow statement and to avoid this situation? Because if we does not improve, if we does not concentrate, if our operating activities is showing loss, the company is almost certain to eventually go out of business. So that's important and alarming to understand cash flow from operating activities. So guys, this is how, if you understand the cash flow operating activity, your 50% work is done with respect to preparation of cash flow as well as understanding of cash flow. But then coming to other sections, which is investing activity, and that will be followed by financing activity. So, but I don't want to give you, any that you need to just take it and, as like what need to be learned and what need not to be. But let have the understanding level. When I'm talking about investing, what do you mean by investing? Investing means how we are applying the money in the business, where we are investing it so that business will grow. And generally, where we invest the money, we invest the money to have a factory, either on lease or either on our own factory. We invest the money in buying machineries. We invest the money in buying investments, maybe in shares or some other market like that. So this investing activity, what it should include then? It includes anything or everything that involves purchase of long-term asset. And if there is some time you sell a PP, PP is property, plant and equipment, any machinery you sold out, then also it is deduction in, or maybe the cash will increase when you sell in a long-term asset. So from cash flow perspective, you may increase the cash. But we need to understand what includes in cash flow from investing activity. So this includes anything that involves purchase and sale of long-term asset such as property, plant and equipment. In the old world of accounting, we used to call it as fixed asset, but in the world of IFRS, in the international accounting terminologies, we generally call it as PP&E, which is property, plant and equipment. So it essentially involves the money which is used to grow business. Why we, have, buy the machineries. We want to grow more. We want to do a lot of productions. Why we take godowns, either on rent or buy those godowns. We want to store our products. So whatever we do from investing perspective is no doubt an expense for the company, but it's a investment to grow the business. And that's why rather than it called as journal expense, we call it as investing activity. So by doing this, company meets its current asset requirement. They acquire the companies. They invest in different securities. Just be a moment. Okay. So cash flow from investing are typically, negative. Why? Because we are applying our cash so that we have those assets with us and which help to grow the business. So it involves money to invest in its growth and very least, into maintaining its business, because whatever do to maintain its business is our general expenses. Let's our business run working capital. But this investing activity is the big investments to grow the business. So however, it is occasionally positive, but it may be negative. And think why. If I sell any PP, if I sell, my securities, I made some investment in some share market and sell those investments, sell those assets, sell those financial instruments. So typically negative, but occasionally it may be positive. And let's see how it looks then, how the format of investing activity. So cash from investing activity, if we purchase the PPE, then it will be negative cash. It will be sale PPE, there will be increase in cash. Acquisition of other business, if you acquire the other businesses, it will be outflow. So deduct your cash. Cash flow will be out. Proceed from the sale of other business. If you sell the other business, or maybe you demerger. So if you demerger, you maybe sell off some of your part, then you receive money. So you need to understand and apply your understanding along with the application, and thereby resultant you can create the cash from investing activity. Proceed from marketable security, proceed from sale of marketable security. So if you purchase, then it will be cash less. If you sale, you'll be receive proceed, increase cash. So this is the investing section, and this is, as I told you, it includes everything related to purchase and sale of PP, acquisition of business, proceed from sale of other business, purchase of securities, and similarly sale of security. So there may be more, other items, and I'm not saying this is exhaustive list because every business is different. Every business may have different items. So you need to analyze, go to the balance sheet and analyze that any difference between non-current asset over the period of time. Because current section, what is current section? Working capital section, which we have already covered under the operating. Now here we need to consider the non-current section. So the non-current section is all investing. And this is how indirectly I'm telling you how while preparation of cash flow, we are covering the balance sheet. And in the operating section, we understand how while preparing the cash flow, we deal with the income statement, starting with the net income or loss and adding back all the non-cash items. Right? So this is how what we include in investing section. But let's talk about then what we should not include in investing activity. And very important point, guys, this generally asked in interviews as well. I'm telling you, depreciation of capital asset. Depreciation of capital asset, since capital asset purchase is investing activity, and even if I need to sell some asset, any machinery, then also investing, then where should depreciation go? Nowhere. Why nowhere? Because it is a non-cash item. If under direct method, then it will be nowhere. If under indirect method, obviously this will be add back because this is a non-cash item. So we need to understand by element to element how to deal with it and understand the logic behind it. Because guys, I personally believe rectification will not help you in any case unless you know the logics. Right? So try to understand the logic of each and every item, and then you can, you will feel to enjoy working around it. Now, debt, equity, and other form of financing. Guys, what is happening here? Form of financing. Financing means that we are receiving money. I issued debt, I issued equity. I taken a loan. When companies issue debentures, when companies issue equity, people invest into it. So that is basically the source of money, not the application of money. So the investing activity was more about application of money, but financing is more about sourcing of money. And we're going to talk about the second bullet point when we deal with financing activity. And that's the reason it cannot be investing activity. Interest payment or dividend. Guys, when we are doing make payments, so when we pay interest on our loans and when we take a loan, it also part of financing activity because we received money. It is source of finance in our business, right? And the last bullet point, I know many of you can answer very easily around it. I'm going to say that all income and expenses related to normal business operation is not or cannot be part of investing activity, obviously, because it's already part of operating activity. And that's how this slide is nothing but a revision of what is already we have covered under operating section, what we are expecting to cover under financing section, and what we have already covered under investing section. So this is the next important section. 50% we covered operating, 25 investing, just 25% left. So I'm telling only for those people who feel like losing the interest, don't lose the interest. We understand a lot of things and we're gonna understand more, but just 25% left. Okay. So cash from financing activity. I've already given you hint of it. Financing means finance. And when I need finance, it means I need money. And in a business, how we get money? I need actual cash. I need source of funds. So it is very, very important part for accountants, even the financial analyst, and even for investors. Because financing, when a company need finance, they generally issue their IPO, FPO, initial public offering, follow public offerings, and they issue their debentures, and people invest into it. So that's why it's very important for accountants, financial analysts, and investors, and it indicates how a company funds its operation. So just think about what should be the elements of it. Money raised through shares issuance, bond issuances, and other form of debt. And this is going to be the financing activities. And this is also where the company, share buyback. So when I say buyback, maybe you have heard about buyback of shares is when company take the shares from the market back. Though there are very legal restrictions on it and companies can't do it. But this is also under the financing section. Dividend payments and company principal repayments and on the debt level. So financing, guys, whenever financing comes to your mind, you just think about when I need money in the business, either through shares, when I issue shares, either through debentures, when company issue debentures, either I take a bank loan, term loan, long-term loans, all these are financing activity. And when I pay interest, then it will be deduction in the cash because I'm paying interest. Similarly on shares, what we pay dividend. So payment of dividend will fall under this section as well. So the positive cash flow means company raising the money, which is possibly to grow its business. And negative cash flow means business is paying money, either to shareholders in the form of buyback or maybe, as I just explained you, dividend, or maybe when, you're paying back to your debtor, you're paying back to your creditors, who has given, or maybe the bank who has given you loan, and that will lead in lower of your debt level. So this is more about the financing activity and wherein we do understand when it is positive or negative. So if we try to in a nutshell understand what financing activity includes and how we prepare a section of cash from financing activity, it is basically issuance of equity, then maybe repurchase of common stock, like which is buyback, issuance of debt, repayment of debt, dividend paid, and other aspect. So this all lead to the net result of net cash from financing activity. So guys, just think about, we covered operating section, we already covered the investing section, and we covered financing section. And once we find out a net result of all of this, that gives us a net result, which is net change in cash of the company. So you can check and compare with your cash available in that, because you started with a net income and loss, and then at the end, whatever cash available in your business, cash and cash equivalent, you just look into it, and this balancing figure give you the complete cash flow statement, right? So this was more about taking you through what is cash flow statement, why cash flow statement is important, how to understand cash flow statement, and the importance of it with the example of Berkshire Hathaway as well as Amazon, and to blend the understanding of income statement, balance sheet along with cash flow, everything like that. And then I told you why it is important to have the cash flow statement under three sections: operating, financing, and investing activity, because that is also helping us to understand these sections at a next level. So let's us analyze it, and you just think about it. in front, you can see the screen, and this is the time to analyze. There are two companies, Company X and Company Y, and Company X total cash flow is, 2 million. Company Y is also 2 million. If we need to take a decision where to invest, we may be indifferent from a overall cash flow statement perspective. But from operating activity, Company X is making $700,000 as an operating activity cash flow. However, company is making 1.5 million. Cash from investing activity, 800,000 Company X, Company Y is 300,000. Cash from financing activity, 500,000 Company X and 200,000 Company Y. So think of which company we would like to invest and then why. So I'm opening the form to you. I would like to hear from one or two candidates, or maybe, the lovely student of mine or friends of mine. Would you like to answer and give me logic behind as well? In which company you would like to invest and why? Yes, please. Yes. Shivam, Abhishek.
Ma'am, cash flow of investing activities, ma'am, $800, ma'am.
So you would like to invest in Company X?
X, ma'am. Company X.
Okay. Anyone else with any other view? Shweta, Mitali, anyone would like to, give a try to it? Dear guys, the more risk, the more reward. Take the
I'm
risk.
Company Y. I would say
And
Company
why
Y.
Company Y? Why Company
And
Y?
because they have a stronger operating activities and thus more probably more stable in the market
Very good,
with what they're
Sudhanshu. I
producing.
really appreciate it. Yes, guys, I told you when I was talking about the operating activity, investing activity, and financing activity section. And let me give you the more logic behind it. Cash from operating activities is, if it is more, then it is reflecting the real cash from operations. Think about investing activity, you have more cash. Why? You may have sell of some PP, you may have sell of some factory. So is it good or not? We don't need to analyze it more, but having more cash under investing activity, it means that we received money because we may have sell of some investments of ours. Financing activity. I am having 500,000 in company X rather than 200,000 in company Y. Maybe fine, in X company, I have taken more loan. So the funds has increased. So what is more important when we are taking investment decision? The most important section is cash from operating activities. But no worries, guys. This is how we understand. This is how we need to get into more and more detail. I have tried to make this presentation neither too technical, on the other hand, neither too, low level as well. I try to make it very balanced. For few, it would be like, okay, it's a value addition. We learn more what we already know. For few, it may be like they don't know much about it, so it may be tough. But don't worry, guys. Knowing the terminologies will always help you to evaluate further and understand further. So this is the answer to it, and I appreciate those who tried and attempt, because that is also important to be interactive and take a thought to it. Then when you are wrong and you correct it, then you always gonna remember it. That's a real fund of the life. So cash flow is same, however company Y is generating more real cash flow. Okay, so now we have analyzed it, and take you through certain important other points. Just listen it in a cool and manner. It is for more information perspective that the cash flow, when we prepare the cash flow, how we take the accounting treatment, and I'm gonna tell you, what I'm talking about right now. That when I have been asked to prepare a cash flow statement, or maybe any one of you have been asked to prepare a cash flow statement, what format you will use and which standard you will follow, where you go to see how to present the things. Every country may have different terminologies, like we call balance sheet. And in UK, or the people who are referring international financial reporting standard, they generally don't use the term balance sheet. They use statement of financial position, SOFP. So how to present it and how to prepare it, it really depends upon where the country is, the entity for which you are preparing the cash flow domicile. And domicile is basically where it is registered, where it need to submit its financials. So domicile, really help us to know which standard need to be followed. And then its presentation, as I told you, is derived from statutory requirements of the reporting country. And further, international accounting, and you may know about IFRS. Those who don't know, I'm giving you an idea, guys. Now in the world of accounting, we have international financial reporting standard, right? It's a word of new level of accounting. The people are preparing now the financials on IFRS, and every country, a lot of countries have adopted IFRS either as is or with some modifications, some carve outs or some carve-ins. Similarly, as in India as well as Australia, China, and just America have not adopted IFRS so far, because they are also at the verge of, maybe they think about, they have huge system of their codification and accounting aspect, but they also accept the accounts which are prepared on IFRS for the foreign companies. So in US also, it's not like the people are unaware of international financial reporting standards. In the world of multinational concept, the companies are multinationally have their tangents, wherein they're working. So they also accept the financials on IFRS if there is financials of a foreign company. So these are international reporting standard as well. So under this platform, almost accounting is same, almost, but they still have different terminologies, and as per their country's economic conditions also, they have certain changes. So give you a brief about it, so that if you can use it in in your word of later preparations of financial statement. Like in India, we have either accounting standard 3, AS3, cash flow statement, or we can use Ind AS. Under when we adopt IFRS, that become Ind AS 7, statement of cash flow. But then it's not a choice, it's not like that. It's choice only for those companies whose top line, whose annual revenue is less than 250 crores. So any company, or even including their subsidiaries, if their annual turnover is less than 250 crores, they can choose either to use AS3 or Ind AS 7. But however, any company having turnover more than 250 crores, they have to apply IFRS. And since they need to apply IFRS, then for the preparation of cash flow statement, they need to follow Ind AS 7. So this is how scenario in India. Probably you got chance to work for a foreign company. Nowadays, we have a lot of foreign companies who have outsourced business here, like Bank of America, MetLife, AIG, and a lot of other companies as well. So if you're working for a multinational company which is domiciled in America, and you need to prepare financial, statement of cash flow, then you need to follow accounting standard codification, which they call it as ASC 230. Those who are preparing the financials on international accounting, that is IAS 7, International Accounting Standard 7, Statement of Cash Flow. And similarly, Australia, for example, like they have their Australian Accounting Standard Board. As in India, we have our Institute of Chartered Accountant of India. They also, form these standards. In America, there is Financial Accounting Standard Board. That board also approved their codification. Similarly, in Australia, there is Australian Accounting Standard Board, and for cash flow statement, they have Accounting Standard 107. So why I'm telling you all this, guys, because generally, being students, we really, confuse, like someone is following AS3 and someone is saying, oh, I'm following IAS 7, then you must be feel like that. Since it is the same statement which we are preparing, I'm also preparing a cash flow statement, you're also preparing a cash flow statement, then why different standard we are following? It's because of all these reasons. So there are a lot of differences. I'm not saying a lot of differences, but even if they are on the same platform, but it's important to know what differences they have, because if you know the difference, then you can prepare in a well-versed manner and you reflect the way it should be. Like I have made a comparison of just US GAAP and IFRS, but it really depends for which company you're working for the cash flow statement, and then accordingly you need to refer that. So under the operating section, if we go to US GAAP, which is Accounting Standard Codification 230, they allowed both the methods, direct method and indirect method, remember? And under US GAAP, they said that net income is reconciled to net cash from operating activity, like for the operating section. Under IFRS also, they said net income is is also need to reconcile with the net cash from operating activity, but only if indirect method is used. So I'm telling you guys, direct and indirect method, I told you, give the same result, no doubt into it. But then either prepare both or either prepare one. So IFRS says only if you are making the indirect method, then reflect another reconciliation, because here under US GAAP, they force you to prepare a reconciliation under where? In notes to financial statement. And you know what is note to financial statement? I told you, under the financial statement sections where there was balance sheet, profit and loss account, and the statement of change in equity, statement of cash flow, then last not the least, disclosure or notes to financial statement. So US GAAP says that you have to prepare a disclosure of a reconciliation with the direct method if you are preparing the cash flow with indirect method, or indirect method if you are preparing the financial with direct method. However, IFRS says that you need to present the reconciliation only if you are preparing your, financial statement or cash flow financial statement with indirect method. So these are just minor differences. If we know, then we present in a very nice and effective manner. And then this is how we can explain to others as well that, under IFRS, the method is not required if you are already reflecting the cash flow from direct method. Then the treatment of interest and dividend. It's very interesting, guys, because just think about interest when you receive or interest when you paid. It's like IFRS says it really depends upon the items on which you are dealing with. Like I made an investment in shares and I received some dividend on it, right? And if I made investment, in some property, or in some, I've given some loan, loan to another company or maybe a person or something like. So I'm going to receive interest on it. So they may say that you can reflect in investing activity. But US GAAP is quite rigid. US GAAP is very rule based. Maybe you heard or it not, but it's a broader classification that US GAAP is very rule based, but IFRS is more principle based. And that's the reason in IFRS you will find that a lot of alternatives are available with the recording of accounting, but then the disclosure requirements increase. Obviously, you need to disclose more because you are having some flexibility. Under US GAAP, they're very particular. So US GAAP Accounting Standard Codification 230 says if you receive interest and paid, it's always recorded under operating section. If you receive dividend, it's operating, but if you paid dividend, it is financing. Obviously, paid dividend is on shares which I issued. The dividend paid is your financing. And why dividend received at operating rather than investing? Because even if you have invest, but whatever funds you have received on that investment is because of your intelligence used to be gonna be used in business, so take it as operating activity. So they have given those logic on those stuff, but IFRS is more principle based. You have different application that can use it, but then you need to disclose accordingly. For the taxes also, cash flow related to income taxes always operating, but then IFRS say that you need to analyze it effectively. If there is a tax, you know about the corporate dividend tax. So corporate dividend tax in India also, if the company is paying dividend, then instead of charging that tax from the every dividend, shareholder receive the dividend, it has been asked by the company to deduct that tax and pay to the government on behalf of the shareholders who want to receive the dividend. So IFRS says that if it is related to it, you can show it in that particular section as well, as it is again principle based. So there's a lot of many things, guys. The sky is the limit when I talk about it. Even if Sky is not the limit. Anything when you start digging into, you will find a lot of stuff. But knowing the things is important, and then whenever and whatever required, you can get into detail of that particular aspect. So I personally believe try to be versatile, try to more about all the tangents, even if you are from whatever area you are, you're gonna work in investment field or maybe in engineering or any other field, but knowing something is very important. But and then whenever required, if you need to work in this particular field or tangent, get yourself into this area, then try to more into detail. And if you're working for others, knowing is always helpful. So this is more about, cash flow statements, types, methods, importance, how we prepare it, format, some key points, logic, everything around it. So I welcome, if you have any question, I would be really happy to help you, to assist you. And before we, say everyone, thank you for the patience listening. And I hope you enjoyed the session as well. And I know it's not easy to listen someone for an hour or more than that continuously. But still, this is how the fashion is nowadays in online sessions, and this is how it is. So, any question, guys? Okay, so I hope there are two reasons for it. Either you understand everything, or either you are still feeling like what you have learned and what you have not. So don't worry, guys. I do understand that once listening a session, you may be very inquisitive to know more about it, but instant question asking is not that easy. So feel free to have your questions, and you can email it to your coordinators, and I can help you eventually as well whenever required, and to take maybe further sessions or to help you with the answers to your queries. Yes, Rachna ma'am. Yes, yes, please tell me.
Ma'am, ma'am, can you like tell more about statutory?
Statutory
Like
guidelines. Okay, Shivam. Uh,
Yes, ma'am.
so Shivam, your question is, can I tell more about the statutory requirements or the difference of stat and gap, right?
Ma'am, I just want to know a new company how to register for statutory so that like uh, his company is shared and bonds can be issued.
Okay, good question first of all. So guys, to help you to understand this questions not directly related to only cash flow statement, but in general, being a finance person, whenever we want our shares, either we want a private company, wherein you and your own family members or maybe the related people, either in the form of partnership or a private company, then you cannot ask the public at large to have their offerings into it or IPO and all. But if you register yourself with any stock exchange, right? Yes, Shivam?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let me complete the answer. That in that case, once you register yourself, you become a public company. And when you become a public company, you need to follow proper GAAP accounting. And when I say GAAP, General Accepted Accounting Principle of that particular country, India, then Ind AS, Australia, then AASB, US, then codification and all this. This is GAAP requirements. In addition, there are statutory people as well, which gives eye on you. And that statutory guidelines, like for insurance companies, I told you, if you're registered with a stock exchange, you have to follow those requirements. But then statutory regulator is IRDA. Similarly, for banking industry, you may have heard Basel 1, Basel 2 requirements and all. That comes from the bank for the banking industry specifically. So when you registered yourself and your shares with the stock exchange, the public interest come into picture. Then SEBI is a regulator which take care of the interest of the public at large. When people have invested into it, they become a statutory regulator for the company. Okay, so generally, there's another important questions for the finance people in interviews and otherwise, that what is difference between GAAP and what is different between stat, and what is, can you explain the GAAP authorities and stat authorities, and then these type of differences you can explain. And a lot of other tangents which we can touch into, but this is just to give you a brief the statutory, regulators and as well as the GAAP regulators. Okay. So anyone else would like to have any question? And your
Ma'am, I have.
coordinators? Yes, Shivam?
Ma'am, it's a general, but I didn't understand that. What is a bond? Like in share, the person gets some percentage of share to the company, but what is the significance of bond?
I really didn't get your question. So you're saying you're talking shares versus bond, right?
Ye- Yes, ma'am.
So it's really depends upon the, okay, in case of shares, the journal, when the company issues shares, and it comes to the, public at large to invest into it, there are terms to the shares and the dividend circulation is there. But bonds are very peculiar. Whenever a company issue a bond, and it's important to know, guys, whenever company issue a bond, its terms and condition is based on the people who invest in the bonds. And when company issue it, and on bonds, it may be in the nature of shares or it may be in the nature of debt. So generally bonds are in the nature of debt. You may have heard about preferred equity. Now in India, from a financial standpoint of view, you will not see preferred equity in financial statements of any company even. It's not allowed under India now. But in US companies, the preferred equity is still allowed. So some people also on the same line ask me that what is difference between the preferred shares and the equity shares. And I'm telling you again, the shares, equity shares or the shares in general have a same understanding internationally, that you invest in a company. If shares are listed, obviously, since you have invested as a public at large, you can refer the stock market, how the shares are fluctuating. At the time when company is growing, they don't, they're going to have their board meeting and decide on the dividend, and accordingly, dividend will be given to them. Now, coming to the question, then what is preferred equity? On preferred also there is dividend, but in that case, that runs based on the arrangement and agreement. So it is more about that preferred could be in the nature of debt or preferred equity could be in the nature of equity, but it is, I should say the preference of equity shareholders is more rather than preferred equity shareholders with respect to voting. However, with respect to dividend received, preferred equity shareholders receive first dividend before the equity shareholders. And similarly for the bonds, guys. So equity shares or shares in general have the same platform internationally, but bonds is based on its terms and conditions. So whenever someone invests in the bonds of a company, then, or, and guys, this is basically a topic of financial instrument. I may, get into financial instruments started and takes weeks to understand your financial instrument. But because financial instrument is a term which changes with the term itself, equity, shares, preferred, then bonds, then mutual funds, and then we move to debentures, embedded documents, right? And there are a lot of names around it, but this is more about financial instrument, and this can be covered later on. But I would request, come back to the point if you are specifically for the cash flow. Otherwise your coordinator gonna say me that I'm diverting myself towards the topic which I don't want. So if you have any question on the cash flow, I welcome you. Otherwise, I'll request your coordinators to share the MCQs with you, and you can try at your end those MCQs. And in case anyone face any challenge of understanding, feel free to reach your coordinators, and they can send your queries to me to resolve further. So over to Rachna ma'am.
Okay. If there are no questions, we can wind. Am I audible?
Yes, you are very much.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you very much for inviting me. I appreciate, for, welcoming to these type of sessions. And I hope everyone and my students really enjoy this session. All the best for all your future endeavors, my lovely, guys. And the word is, is so small, we may connect or interact again. All the best to all of you. Thank you.
And I would like to thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for the wonderful session on cash flow and production planning. It was really valuable and very informative. And thank you so much for your, valuable time. And thank you for enlightening us with your knowledge and expertise. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Okay. So students, I'll be sharing you the quiz with you in a chat box. Just do the quiz and then after doing the quiz, you can leave. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Just see if you're able to open it.
Yes, ma'am. It's accessible. It's easy to
Okay.
open.
Okay then. Then do it and then after submitting, you can leave. Okay?
मैम कब तक ओपन रहेगा लिंक?
अभी ओपन ही रहेगा ये.
ओके मैम.
हम्म?
मैम अभी नेट मैम शाम को करेंगे मैम, थोड़ा सा लेट करेंगे मैम.
हम्म. And thank you all for your patience, right?
Thank you, ma'am. Have a great day, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
मैम सबमिट का ऑप्शन ही नहीं है मैम।
सबमिट का ऑप्शन नहीं आ रहा है।
एंड में शो हो तो
No,
रहा है
ma'am.
मैम।
मैम नहीं आ रहा है।
नहीं
मैम नहीं आ रहा।
कोई एक्सेस हो रहा है सॉल्व करने के बाद में सबमिट ही नहीं हो पा रही है।
यस मैम, यस मैम, इट्स डिसेबल्ड मैम।